All right, everyone, we start off today with more of Biden's problems. Again, it's a story that I would like to retire, but it's all anyone is talking about. And so I figured, I've got to weigh in on these sorts of things. Right now, even Hakeem Jeffries, he's the leader of the House Democrats. He's the de facto leader of the House at this point because the Republicans can't get their shit together. He refused to outright endorse Joe Biden. It's sort of non-committal about it. It's like, well, he is our nominee, presumptively. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. He had a meeting with Joe Biden, actually. And then there was a Zoom call with the Hispanic caucus. We'll be talking about that separately. Biden is having a really, really hard time right now. Like as in, I still don't expect him to drop because he's been totally committed this entire time and says, I am running, we're going to beat Trump, he's going to rallies, he's raising money and shit like that. Although, the feeling he's raising a little bit less money right now than he was before the debate, just to be clear. But the party leadership is not lock, stock, and barrel on board with him. Now, Hakeem Jeffries is more left-leaning than Joe Biden. And so any sort of reason to not give an explicit endorsement would probably be embraced anyway. But there's a fairly big reason for not explicitly endorsing now, isn't there? The elephant in the room is that Joe Biden has dementia. They've been covering for him for years, and most of the party leadership is on board with him. Pelosi has come out publicly, for example, and said he's our guy, the head of the DNC. Schumer, supposedly behind closed doors, expresses doubt over Joe Biden, but we're not sure because it's one of those stories where it's like an unnamed source close to the matter has told us that Chuck Schumer said X, Y, and Z. Well, I'm sorry if you don't name the source. If the source is too cowardly to come out in such a case and just say, hey, Biden's demented, Chuck said that he shouldn't run, then, I'm not going to take it seriously because the legacy media is gunning for Joe Biden right now. It sort of brings me back to the video that I made the other day where I was like, well, maybe they're setting him up to be like comeback kid mode. So they really hammer him for a short period of time, and then they praise him for some like celestially glowing like Martin Luther King level speech or something like that. I don't believe that's going to be the case, but it's always a possibility. It's a fun one to think about anyway. Hakeem Jeffries won't endorse him, and that's a big problem. When you don't have the will of the leader of the House Democrats behind you, you've got a few problems to deal with. He's probably going to have to bribe him or something like that. It's not a huge surprise, though. With Pelosi, it's just straight uniparty. With Schumer and the DNC head and all of these others. Hakeem Jeffries is more on the left side. So, over the Palestine issue, you've had problems between the Biden administration and people like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, all of which are being combated right now. By the way, the Uniparty is trying to force them aside. They're trying to put the genie back in the bottle with the far left. I don't think that they'll be successful in the end. I think that you're stuck with the socialists, even though AOC just lost the endorsement of the Democratic Socialists of America, so for what it's worth. She's becoming the establishment, says the far left. She doesn't agree with us 100% on every issue that we care about. Therefore, she is bad. It's a problem among the leftoids. The unipartyist Democrats never should have absorbed them in the first place. They should have tried to reabsorb Union Dems or something like that. Been like a party of JFK thing. Gave them this advice years ago. That's all you had to do, but you failed to do so. Now you're stuck with a dementia patient as your presidential candidate, a gaggle of leftoids in the House, and a couple in the Senate, actually. It's basically the party of Bernie Sanders more than anything else. You're screwed. I hate to tell the Democrats this, but for the short term, you're probably fucked. Your presidential candidate can't even get his own literal house in order behind him. It's going to be a rough time for you. I think that the election basically speaks for itself. Trump presumptively wins re-election. You can look at all the polling that's available. Other than the PBS Marist poll, we'll be talking about that as well. He's leading in virtually all polling. General matchup, swing state, two-way race, five-way race, doesn't really make a difference. He's edging in on Hispanic voters, which could be why the Hispanic caucus thing happened, etc. And that's because Joe Biden is very unqualified for his position. And I love that they're trying to pull for other people as though Joe Biden hasn't made it explicitly clear he ain't going nowhere. You can force him out at the convention, that'll just cause chaos. So yes, you want 1968 all over again, just alienate those millions of people that did vote for Joe Biden. I mean, I think they're batshit to vote for him in the primaries. I think they're batshit to back him, but they do actually back him. Believe it or not, he actually does have fans. They're just not that terribly many of them, but they do exist, and you can't win without them. With Hakeem kind of sort of straddling that line and saying, I'm not 100% sure about this. That's pretty telling now, isn't it? And he's young enough to be, I mean, if not intelligent politically, at the very least, he's self-aware. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what year it is, probably. He knows where he is. He knows his own name, and he knows that 2 + 2 = 5 and all of these other fun facts that the left entertains. And he won't endorse Biden. He won't get behind him. That leaves Biden's list of allies growing more and more thin with what Mike Levin said again on that Hispanic conference Zoom call. Oh my God. Biden, by the way, he has this problem. He's trying to compensate for his poor debate performance. So what does he do? He takes excessive numbers of questions on the Hispanic Zoom call, at the NATO summit, etc., and he hangs himself. He does much more poorly when he runs on because the addies wear off and it becomes a big problem for him. And this has happened now. I think this is the third time that it's happened since the debate. And yeah, I mean, gaffe after gaffe after gaffe. He just can't get his ship of state righted. It's basically like the ship of state has no tiller at the moment. It's incapable of steering. It's just whirlwinding around you. You're next to Scylla and Charybdis right now, and you don't have the ability to steer. Well, fucking good luck. You know, you're going down the river Styx, and Cerberus is right there. Oh my God! And you can't avoid it because, unfortunately, you're incapable of correcting your craft. Biden's problems at this point probably could not get worse. Barring a major health episode where he literally, like, his face starts drooping live on stage and he's clearly having a ischemic attack or something like that, I don't see how it could actually get worse for him. I don't think there's any methodology by which, other than major health crisis or death, that it could actually get worse. That's about all. Peace out.